Hello, Light Menders. Joining me today, my old friend Annie Rudin. We knew each other in high school, which is awesome. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. So happy to be here with you, Jonathan.
And Annie's got her own channel, which is it Pronunciation or Pronunciation Pro?
Pronunciation Pro.
Queen Nefertiti?
Nefertiti.
I've heard it both ways.
What is Pronunciation Pro? What is the purpose of your channel? What is your bread and butter?
Yeah. So we help non-native English speakers learn how to speak English clearly and with a lot more confidence. We found that our students are intermediate to advanced level English speakers. They know how to have a conversation. They're living in the U.S. or Canada or other English speaking countries most of the time, and but they're having a hard time being understood, and so it really affects their confidence. So
Yeah. And their ability to thrive. I mean, in the workplace, at school, elsewhere. The unfortunate truth about life in the United States is that most everybody here is monolingual, and elsewhere in the world, almost everybody is bilingual. And so when we hear people speaking English and it's not their native language, sometimes there's a bit of judgment or there's a bit of superiority, and then it's like, no, if any of us try and learn a different language, it's difficult. A case in point, Shakira in Spanish versus Shakira in English. She's far better in Spanish. She just is, right? So you're here to help people improve their English, improve their confidence, and there's a psychology to that. So that's really cool. Today we're going to be doing something weird. This is a video that's going to be half on Mended Light, half on Pronunciation Pro. We're going to be reacting to me.
all right. I'm excited about it. I know it's weird for you. I know it would be weird for me to react to me, but
It's like space-time folding in on itself. It's like that bit in The Last Jedi where Rey is in the cave and there's just like her going on for infinity as she snaps her fingers. It's just like, yeah, I'm glad you're here. I'm going to see if I would still say what I think about what I said years ago in this other Mended Light video. We're going to get your insights and off we go. So how to find your inner confidence, which lines up with what you were talking about. What did I even say? Holy crap, I hope it's good.
sure, it's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. So here we go.
Okay.
Confidence is an attitude about your skills, it's about your abilities, and it's about how good you are in different situations. I just want to point out how wholesome our opening music and graphics
So
are.
nice. So nice. Well, I actually think this is a really good example of the fact that we learn by doing, and I'm telling my audience that all the
Yes.
time. We learn by doing, and at first you're going to do it really poorly, and then you're going to get better and better at it. So there you go.
Yeah. And anything you're good at one point you were terrible at it. Like that's
Exactly.
just the way of things.
Yeah.
And Alicia is really good on camera. She didn't used to be, by her own admission. It was very uncomfortable for her. It was very rigid. She wasn't naturally herself, and she hated being on camera. And it's a learned skill. She won't even watch the old videos. She wants to redo them.
Yeah.
And I get that. I mean, question for you.
Yeah.
Did it come naturally to you to just talk to a camera lens?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And you'd think after 15 years of doing this that I would be better, be better at it, but I feel like I'm having to apply all the skills that I'm teaching my students constantly of just mindset and confidence and how to train your brain, because once I get in front of the camera, I'm
Yeah.
fully activated, and I have to really work hard to get in the right mindset.
Well, and those types of skills that are applicable across situations are powerful and can help when you're doing something new, right? But like specific skills, like I had screen acting experience, acting opposite people, and I had stage acting experience. I did stage comedy in college, and so when it came time to start doing videos for YouTube, I'm like, yeah, I got this. I'm great on camera. Like all of this,
Yeah.
kind of a little bit of vanity coming into it.
Yeah.
And then for the first time, I had no one to interact with. I was just like staring at a lens.
Yes.
And it's like the eye in 2001: A Space Odyssey. Dave, what are you doing, Dave? Like you're just looking at this weird mechanical thing, and you're interacting with nobody as if
Yeah.
somebody's there, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard. You do it majestically. I might add.
Yeah.
How did you get there, though? How do you get there?
Oh, repetition and practice, absolutely. So it's interesting because you say, you don't like looking at your previous or your wife doesn't like looking at her previous videos, and 100%
Yeah.
that's me completely. Is I actually, for my program, I recorded all of the videos for my program, and then I went back and recorded them again because by the time I finished recording all of them, I was so much
Yeah.
better at it. And so I did. I went back and recorded all of them again, and I was happy with the result at that point. But yeah, repetition, practice, it just over and over again. It's still activating and stressful for me. But as far
Yeah.
as the finished product, I'm a lot better, now than I
Yeah.
used to be. So
Yeah, that when it becomes second nature, when something becomes muscle memory, right? But there's also the skill of having the confidence of saying, okay, I'm not good at this now, but everything I'm good at now, I used to not be. I can learn this too. So
absolutely.
awesome. Let's get back to. I think I'm just
I
putting
think
off reacting to my own video.
well, I think there's a lot we could even like dive into with that without even going to react. So anyway, let's go.
Yeah.
It means being realistic about your abilities,
Whoa,
including about
whoa.
your strengths and your weaknesses. For me, an attitude of confidence comes from, look, I see in therapy a lot, people get down on themselves, and I like to tell them that if you're full of yourself and all you see is the positive and all you see is what you're great at, or you overestimate how great you are at things, that is lying to yourself. But it's just as much of a lie to live in the space where you think that you suck and that you're terrible at everything. The fact is, literally everybody on the planet is a collection of strengths and weaknesses.
Okay.
I love it.
I want to hear your thoughts on that because we
Okay.
already heard my thoughts.
Yeah. No, I love this. So in my program, we talk about confidence and in a skill, and you kind of talked about that. Confidence in a skill set versus self-confidence. So self-confidence is what we talk about is I'm willing to do new things and I'm willing to do hard things, or I can do hard things and I can do new things. And
Yeah.
I'm willing to be uncomfortable for the sake of growth. And so those three things we kind of use as like a guideline. And when I talk to my students about that, it's like, I know you can do new things. You've done it over and over again. We can find a lot of evidence for that. I know you can do new things because you've done that over and over again. And are you willing to go through the discomfort for the sake of growth? And when they can say yes, yes, and yes to that, then it's like, oh, I have confidence that I can do whatever I decide I want to do. So then it becomes confidence in a skill. So then we kind of divide it out as like, okay, am I confident pouring a glass of water? Yeah. Okay. I'm confident in that. I've done it over and over again. I can do that. I'm confident, and so we can kind of name out the things that they're confident in. And then it's like, are you confident in English? And it's like, well, yes and no. And you say, there's kind of the strengths and weaknesses. It's like, I'm good at talking in this situation, but maybe not in this situation. Well, then that just means we need more practice to build that confidence.
I'm feeling so called out right now. I know you're not doing it on purpose. It's not personal. But like this is my single greatest challenge and has been is I like to stick in the lane. I like to stay in the lane of this is something that I know that I'm good at, so I do this because I don't feel uncomfortable here. And I feel comfortable with people seeing me here because this is a skill set that I've acquired, right? I know comedians who are fearless in front of 500 people, 1,000 people on stage, but you get them in a one-on-one conversation and they get really nervous and awkward because on stage it's a performance, it's a mask, right?
Yeah.
And they feel very confident and comfortable there. And so I like to stay where I'm comfortable. And I had this deep-rooted, deep-seated belief that I couldn't learn to do new things. That there was only a handful of things that I was good at, and beyond that, I just couldn't. And I didn't want to deal with I like that you say deal with the discomfort because I'm what's known as a healer personality type, and we're all about comfort, making other people comfortable, comforting other people, being comfortable ourselves.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily thrive on progress and growth. We thrive on like Bilbo Baggins just being safe in our little hobbit hole, right?
Oh, okay.
And so I like what you said about you have to embrace the discomfort of it and
Yeah.
that you can grow into it. Let's
Yeah.
keep going.
Okay.
And every single person has things that are hard for them to do, hard for them to learn, take a lot of effort, and maybe they never even fully get there, no matter how hard they try. Every person. The issue is that we often compare our weaknesses to another person's strengths, and then we feel deficient. If you're in this headspace that you stink and that you're no good, you're lying to yourself.
I love that you talk about like we have the positive and we have the negative, and that if we're just saying we're amazing and we're not looking at the negative, we're lying. But we're also lying if we just look at the negative and don't look at the positive. And so it's, I think, so often, especially with my students, and I think just everybody in general, like there is a negativity bias. We're going to look at the negative, the weakness, we're going to focus on that. But I also can see that, like, if you focus too much on, I'm so amazing, I'm so great, then you're missing opportunities to strengthen areas that could be a problem.
And when people pay us compliments, we downplay them. And it feels like the negative has to be more true. And there is literally no reason for that. We just kind of accept that as my default setting is I suck. So anything that supports that has to be the truth. And anything that goes contrary to that, well, they're just mistaken, right? Or we minimize it. Alicia says, and a lot of people say, comparison is the thief of joy. And when we compare our strengths to another person's weaknesses, that's ego. When we compare our weaknesses to another person's strengths, that's self-flagellation. It's just a simple fact that you're going to be strong where someone else is weak and vice versa, and that's okay.
I think recognizing that I talk about my confidence house is in my program. I kind of talk about this confidence house, and that every room in your confidence, or every skill that you have, is a different room in your confidence house. Okay.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we think, especially with my students, English, if I'm bad at English, then everything else is bad, right? I'm bad at everything, because communication really is kind of a doorway to a lot of these rooms. It's like they could be amazing in these certain areas, but if they can't communicate about it, then that's a problem. And so we do have to recognize that like a skill set, like we're comparing maybe something that we're weak with someone who's great at. So with my students, it's like English is such a weakness or such a struggle or a challenge, and they're comparing themselves with native English speakers, but they also have so many other amazing skills because English is a second language, and because they've gone through that process of learning another language, and they have the compassion and the understanding and the insight and the perspective based on that. And so it's like we can't, it's not just one or the other. We're looking at a lot of different skills. And like you said, we focus on this one and this one that we're comparing, and then we kind of size each other up as to who's better and who's worse, versus seeing the whole collectively.
Well, and we're looking for our worth, and we're looking for how far we've progressed, and so we think that comparison is the way, because that's kind of how we're socialized. But I truly believe the only comparison we should be making is with ourselves. Am I further ahead than I was, right? Mm-hmm. And so, I love that.
I love that.
All right, let's keep going.
There are things that you're not great at. Okay. So play to your strengths. What were you put here to do? The things that you're good at, the things that you're passionate about, can be your gift to the world. You just got to get creative. Look at me, for example. I'm known for talking about movies and TV shows on the internet. For a long time, I didn't think that was a marketable skill. I thought, okay, there's already people who talk about movies and TV shows on the internet. I'm not going to do it any better than they can. And then I realized I can do it in a way that helps people. And that's my secret sauce. But I literally geek out about Star Wars, and I feed my family doing that. What are you good at? You may think it's not marketable. I promise you it is. You may think that it doesn't benefit society. I promise you it can. Whatever you're good at, whatever you're passionate about, that is something that you can give to the world. And maybe right now you can't make a living doing it. Maybe you have to do something on the side to pay the bills while you figure out how to make a living doing the thing that you love the most. Or maybe you never make a living doing the thing you love the most. That's just the thing you do that makes you happy. You pay the bills some other way. But the point is, your confidence comes from recognizing that you are good at things, and that the things you're good at have worth and value simply by virtue of you being a human being, and you have strengths that you can put out into the world. Or don't put them out into the world. You have strengths that can be used just to bring you happiness and joy. A lot of us lack confidence because of our weaknesses. And what's interesting is that the people who lack confidence because of their weaknesses are usually very forgiving towards others and their weaknesses and their flaws. They're usually very loving and accepting of others because that's what they want for themselves, but they don't give that to themselves.
So we're going to explore over on Pronunciation Pro, over on Annie's channel. What about the things that you're not naturally good at? Can those be your gift to the world, or what role do those play in your life? But what do you think, Annie, about the things that we're passionate about or the things that come naturally to us, how we can put those to use or what purpose those serve?
Oh, absolutely. So I think that there is an internal drive that comes to us of just like, this is what I'm drawn to do. This is what I want to do. And I think a lot of people, they may be in a situation where it's like, okay, in order to do that thing that I'm longing to do and that I know I'm pulled to do, I do have to learn some skills to get there. I do have to learn and acquire some real skills and talents so that I can go after this dream or go after this calling that I feel like this is what I need to do. And so I think that is an important piece because when you really have that deep-rooted purpose, you're going to be able to overcome a lot of obstacles to get there.
Yeah. Love it. That's powerful. Okay, so we're going to head on over to your channel for the second half of this conversation. Annie, once again, tell people where they can find you and why it matters.
Yeah, you can find me at pronunciationpro.com. If you are a non-native English speaker, learning, wanting to improve your speaking skills and your confidence in speaking English. I'm also on Pronunciation Pro on YouTube, so you can check out a whole bunch of videos there. And we're all about clarity, communication, connection, confidence, and community. All the C's, right? All of the C words.
All the C's. CNC Music Factory.
Yeah, exactly.
And for those who are watching, how do you build confidence, especially when it comes to things that you don't feel like you're naturally good at? What do you think of our conversation today? What were your big light bulb moments? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, folks, keep shining. We need your light. And head on over to Pronunciation Pro. The other video is there now.